Hey guys, this is a video of this SmokeGard Model 800A smoke detector. Now you may recognize this smoke detector from my video from a few weeks back, actually it was like last month, from my estate sale alarm haul. And I got this detector from that estate sale for, it was in with a bunch of alarm parts and a couple of other first alert smoke detectors. And I got the whole thing for only $2, so that was probably one of the best deals I've had in a very long time. One of the luckiest finds I've ever gotten, honestly. So, that is the alarm. Now, you may be a little confused if you've seen that video, and if you haven't, I'll link it in the description. But if you have seen it, there is a box here for a SmokeGard smoke detector. And you might be confused because this detector, if you remember from that video, I didn't get it in the box or anything. It was just like in a box of other stuff in the basement. It had been installed and replaced, or removed. So, if I open up this box right here, you'll see that inside I have another SmokeGard Model 800A smoke detector. But this one is actually brand new in the box. And now the story of how I got this one was, actually it was kind of ironic because I think it was either the very day I got this one or the day after, I had somebody contact me on through my Facebook page, told me that they had a brand new in the box SmokeGard Model 800A smoke detector that they'd be willing to let me have, and I bought it from them for a pretty reasonable price. I'm very happy that I was able to get this one though, because obviously this one being used, it's not in great condition. It's a little yellowed, and also it was missing its mounting bracket. But if we look at this one has its mounting bracket. So, yeah, the way that the mounting bracket comes off is this little plastic thumb screw right here. You loosen that. Oh, you don't remove it like that. You're only supposed to loosen it. But yeah, you could remove it, I guess. And then the bracket just slips off, and the detector just hangs on the bracket like that. So, yeah. So I guess I'll show you the back of both units now. So these are both SmokeGard smoke detectors made by Statitrol Corporation, if it would focus. I don't know. But they're SmokeGard Model 800A8, made by Statitrol Corporation. And this one is also Model 800A8. Now these are both slightly later models of the 800A. And how do I know that? Well, there's a few characteristics that pretty much give it away. First of all, you may remember a few years ago I had one of these, another Model 800A that I got from an open house that was also used. And it was labeled Model 800A 8101. So that's a little different. And there's also this one is actually dated right there, 1978, from when it was installed by the original owners of the house. So I wish I could get this thing to focus. Really do. Maybe if I like zoom in, that makes it worse. Oh, there we go. It just focused. This video is just going to be mostly me trying to work this camera. Well, whatever. It's not important right now. I'll figure it out sometime, and you get the idea. So basically, these are both later models. And the other thing that I noticed with this one, actually, is this top piece, this top plastic piece, comes off. And if you remove that, underneath of it, you can see right there is the sensor, the entrance to the sensor, and the horn output hole. And there is normally a small metal plate that goes on top of this sensor, kind of like a target plate that BRK used and N-Tronic on their detectors. That would just fit on top of the sensor as kind of like a radiation plate, I guess, or something, and you could remove it for cleaning. This one didn't come with that, so I had assumed that it had gone missing over the years, just from it being installed and used. And just, I guess they took it down to replace the battery sometimes. Maybe they cleaned it, maybe they forgot to put it back on. Who knows what they did. But now that I've got this one, I'm thinking that that might not be the case entirely, because when I went to take the top piece off of this one for the first time, and actually it was a little bit loose when it came in the box, so I didn't have to take it off. Like, I took it off when it first came out. So I removed it, and this one was also missing the top metal target plate. So now I'm pretty much convinced that the later versions did not have the plate included, and that was simply only a thing that they included with the earlier versions. I don't even think they really needed it, because the top plastic piece kind of serves the same function. So right here you've got your hole for your LED indicator, which, as you probably saw, was flashing like that every 5 or 8 seconds. And that is to indicate that the batteries are connected, and this one's also flashing, hopefully. Yep. And those batteries are on the back here, and these take 6 AA batteries. Now this was an upgrade to the very first model that Statitrol ever made, the Model 700, which was this one right here, which took those PX21, I believe they were called. Yeah, PX21 4.5 volt alkaline batteries. And those were very expensive, and those were getting pretty hard to find by the time these came out, I think, even. So this was a much more economical design, although they use so many more batteries. So, yeah. And nowadays, AA's are pretty expensive, too, so it's not entirely a great thing. But, yeah. Now, the other thing that makes me believe that these are later models, or that I pretty much know that these are later models, if you look inside, you can kind of see in there, but the horn is actually a Kobishi CLB-26, or 27, brass squealer horn. And that was, that's interesting because the earlier version, or at least the one that I have, the one that I used to have, had a delta alarm horn, delta alarm squealer horn. So, and actually most of the ones that I've seen actually do have a delta alarm squealer, so it's just funny that these two that I have just happen to have a Kobishi CLB-27. So now I'm going to put these two aside for a minute. We're going to look at the inside of the box, the contents of the box for this one. So there's the mounting bracket once again. So it came with this here battery tab, which basically what originally would have come with, it would originally have come with 6 AA batteries included in the package, and it would have had this stuck in there. She would have pulled that out to energize the detector. This one didn't come with batteries when I got it, so I'm guessing the original owner must have removed them, because it wasn't ever installed as far as I could tell. Yeah, it doesn't look like it was ever installed. So right here you got your California State Fire Marshal paper, and this one actually is dated. You can't really see it because this camera doesn't do macro, obviously, but it is dated March 10th of 1977, and so that pretty much tells me that this detector is probably from around 1977 or 1976, around that time, because it said previous revision 1976. And we also have right here the manual for models 800A and 800A8 and 800C8. And the difference between those two is 800A8 is just the regular battery operated model like this, you know, basic 9 volt, or yeah, 9 volt 6 AA powered model. 800C8 was the same version, same model, except with a built-in relay contact. So that's something interesting. So I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see the manual, given that this camera isn't that great, which I'm right now discovering. But hopefully you can read it. Testing and maintenance. fire escape plans. There is no copyright date on this manual, unfortunately. Yeah, you can't read that at all. There is one funny thing in here that I thought was kind of entertaining. It's, if Uncle Charlie is a heavy sleeper or smokes in bed, there should be an additional alarm near the center of the ceiling of his room. I just thought that was kind of humorous. And if you could see it, that would be better. Yeah, now it's not even focusing at all for anything. Now this is even worse. Oh well, you can sort of see. Not too well. Alright, so now I'm going to attempt to test these units using matches, because these units do not have test buttons. Unlike the 700, the previous model, which had a test dial, these do not have test buttons. You have to use smoke to test them. So I'm going to just give me a second to set everything up here. Let's see. Tripod. Hopefully this will work. Whoa. Okay. So there's one. We're going to do the one from the estate sale first. So let me find my matches. I just put them down. Here they are. And now I have tested both of these, and they do both work. So unlike my old one that I used to have, you actually will get to hear these go off. Because that one didn't work for some reason. That one's sensor was bad. So I'm going to try to get this best I can in frame. Hopefully I can do this. I'm going to try not to set my room on fire. Oh, there we go. Some smoke. Nothing. Maybe we gotta try 3. I'll try 2 again. Whoa. Okay. Oh, the camera's gonna fall. Come on. Man. Okay, let me fix the camera before it falls. Okay. Well, that was unexpected, but I did go off. I was going to fix the camera and then try again with matches. I guess it Had a little bit of a delay there, but that was a successful test. So, let me now fix the camera for good and attempt to test the other one. The one from the new in-box one. So, put this one aside and grab this one here. So now that one had a little bit of a delay. Let's see if this one has that same issue. Okay, ooh, those matches, they struck on the first try. That one was much more sensitive than the other one. It's still making little noises. Might have to take the battery out of this one, to reset it or something like that. I can't get the batteries out. Oh, there we go. I got them out. I got 2 of them out. That's good enough. Okay. I can take the camera out of the tripod. Okay, so I think that's about it for the test. Now there is one final thing. I think these came right after the design. These are the very first design after this one. So this was the second design that Statitrol ever made for the residential home smoke detectors. It was designed by Duane Pearsall back in like the early 70s, I believe. Right after these came model 805, which is kind of a rare model, and what that was is, instead of an LED hole right there, it had a test button, and the cover actually opened up, and it had a slightly different cover. It had, the top portion was like molded onto this piece. It wasn't removable, but the whole thing was like hinged. You could open it, and I actually don't know if it was hinged or if it could remove all the way, but it could open. Either way, and that one had a squealer horn, a Kobishi CLB-27 squealer horn. And then after that came the 809A, which had the same exact cover and everything, test button right here, except it had a piezo horn, so it was kind of the later model. And then right after that came the 810A9, which was a slightly larger model. It actually looked exactly like this right here, except it had a white button. Of course, this is the 907, the Rittenhouse model. Now, these were made by Statitrol Corporation when Statitrol was a division of Emerson Electric, so that was just an important fact, and of course this one I think predates that. So, yeah. Another thing, these were rebranded by Teledyne, and what happened was they used the circuitry from Model 800 and they put it inside of the Teledyne water pick housing. So they were rebranded by Teledyne for their like water pick smoke detector. And from what I've read on the Worcester Polytechnic Institute archives and the documents and everything, the deal that they had to make between Statitrol and Teledyne, it wasn't like really that. It was kind of shady. It wasn't that great, well done. Wasn't well executed. Apparently there were some authorization issues, I think, that they had, or that Statitrol had with Teledyne. So yeah, Duane Pearsall was not a fan of Teledyne, from what I could tell, after they went through that whole debacle. But after that, Amway, I get the two confused. Amway rebranded the 800A as well. Technically, they rebranded the Teledyne models because their design is much more similar to those. It's large and round with the large side vents. But they had the same idea. They took the circuitry and like the sensor and horn out of an 800A and just slipped it into a larger housing. Theirs had a disc on top, kind of like this. The earlier models had just a removable top piece like this, but the later models, that top piece was actually a test button. So, pretty cool. So yeah, that's about it for this video. That is the SmokeGard, Statitrol SmokeGard Model 800A smoke detectors, as well as some cameos by all those over there. So, once again, thank you for watching, and more to